Welcome to Twilight Age Investigative.
In the shadows where the truth hides deep, echoes of the lost and the secrets they keep. Cold cases burn in the back of your mind. We dig through the dark, one clue at a time. This ain't fiction, this is blood, this is truth. 12-gauge investigative, justice uncaged. We ask the questions that too scared to say, shining a light where the guilty pray. From killers to whispers, we won't look away.
All right. How's everybody doing tonight on this Thursday evening? Thought I'd hop on here and come hang out with you folks, you gents, you women, and just come chill for a little while because, you know, for those working people, it comes quite early. PKC, how are you? How have you been? And how that feisty cat of yours, has it been mauling you up at all? I think about that every time I see a cat acting out. I'm like, I bet that cat's messing with PKC. Anyways, I thought I'd get on here. Sorry I'm late. I really don't have a lot to talk about tonight because I got a trip to make in the morning. Got to go to a town where a detention facility is and check on some people. But I thought I'd get on here regardless. Hey, Sirius. No blood lately. Made the 40-pound dog cry last night. Now, that's a mean-ass cat. Must be an orange one. Those orange cats are something else. Kind of like a redheaded woman. They just have a little extra hump in their step. You know what I mean? But anyways, like I was saying, I have to take a trip tomorrow to be able to go to check on some kiddos. It's going to be a really good trip. It's going to be a really good experience. I don't know how I got all my stuff all messed up. Hello, Mountain Mama. Hello, Kels. How y'all doing? Yeah, those orange cats. Those orange cats are vicious. I used to have one myself. Those things they're something else. You know, I didn't get on here really to talk a lot about a lot of things, but I can make the time go by talking about anything. You know, we have Discord, and I read a lot of stuff that goes on in the Discord, which is hilarious to me. I think it's too funny sometimes when things are being said in there because I go and check things out. And I'm like, oh my God, they're right. This is hilarious. But I have to ask you guys in the chat. I know you're women, most of you. I don't see a male yet, so I have to ask you, what is your definition of a manly man? Sirius said, I bet these kids are going to be excited to see you, 12. I always think about the impact you must have on kids. I think it's great that you have your degree in doing that. And what is my favorite place you have visited? As far as for my job or just in general? The question is, what is your definition of a manly man? And can you be a strong, independent woman without being a subservient woman or an overbearing woman? And are you capable of being equal in that regard? Just food for thought. If you're asking, Kel's my favorite place to visit, I haven't been to a lot of them, but none of them are really fun. It's like walking into a county jail, actually. Um, it says honest, loyal, and protective. Okay. Rondi says, I want a man to be a protector, provider, and a good leader treated well. That's awesome. Because I hear a lot of people talking about being manly men, but they're walking around in skinny jeans and all this other stuff. It contradicts my definition of what a manly man is. Not that I have anything against people to wear skinny jeans, just the fact that, you claim to be a manly man, but yet you're wearing skinny jeans and getting your nails done. There's something wrong with that. A man that has a sense of humor and will protect you if you need him. I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need him to take care of me. Just be by his side and loyal. I like that. I just meant location in general. Okay. Um, Gotta make me laugh. I do, and please no makeup. Yeah. When did men start wearing makeup? I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm speaking for myself. I'm old school, so no makeup, no lean nails, none of that stuff. I prefer the woman to be confident in herself enough to understand that no matter what it is, that they either disagree or agree with me, that we can talk it out, that we can get to a common ground. And one of the best places that I've ever been that I consider something special to me would be Destin or Panama City Beach. I mean, I haven't been there in a couple years since the hurricanes have hit it and stuff, so I really couldn't tell you what they look like. But those used to be my places to go. Yeah, I mean, they can't have more beauty product than you. I agree with that. I want to be the woman in the relationship. Yeah. Sirius says, my definition of a manly man has definitely changed in the last few years. I think a man who has a sense of humor is the best. When you know that they really love you, then it's the hottest thing ever. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a little uncomfortable to be with a female that's swearing all the time. Not that I'm anti swearing because I swear quite a bit myself, but due to what I due to what I do for a living, I have to watch what I say so it doesn't become habitual when I say that. Um so I don't cussing around the kids. You know what I mean? I can't do it. Hey, Texas. I'm here at 12. Yep. So, Texas, we got a male in the house. I've heard other people talk about this question that I just asked. Do you like other parts of a woman other than what she walks on and what she touches you with? Is there other places that you notice other than those two places? Texas, he couldn't stand it. 12 hurt enough. You're right about that. My ex was what I would call manly until I met a real man. That's all I'm going to say about that. Where's Walt? 12 gauge. Good to see you. How about it, Leslie and Billy? I heard about your day today. I mean, most men, you ask them a question, what do you desire in a woman? Or what's the first thing that you notice? They're going to tell you this, this, or this. Granted, many people have different affiliations with their likes and dislikes. You know, I was around a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 19-year-old male last week. And there is nothing wrong with their masculinity, I can tell you that. Nothing wrong with their masculinity at all. Because these young men, I still call them kids because they're young, but these young men definitely have nothing wrong with their masculinity whatsoever. They don't talk about women like trash, but they are very involved in the specific areas of a woman or a young girl, whatever you want to call them. As long as she doesn't have dirt under her fingernails. You know, to be honest with you, Texas, I've had girlfriends that went and got their nails done every week, got them refilled, all this stuff. And I've had girlfriends that never got it done. And to be honest, the ones that got it done, it was annoying listening to them bitch. And if you get your nail done, I want to go ahead and tell you, there's nothing wrong with it. But for me, listening to that person gripe, I'm not going to say bitch, I'm going to say gripe about her fingernails and what she could and could not do because she just got her nails done or she just painted her nails or stripped the paint, whatever. It was like she was constantly working on a damn car in a body shop, stripping it down, repriming it, re-putting some paint on it, letting the paint dry, buffing the paint out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I'm just saying, for me, it was like someone was working in a body shop. You know what I mean? And and I was like, whoa, 12 gauge. Oh my God, how many girlfriends have you had? Well, I'm 53 years old. 12 has been around the ballpark a lot of times. Because you gotta, in my mind back then, you had to try out a lot of the products to see what you enjoyed and what you didn't enjoy. What potential you had to make something work in the future if it wasn't going to work with this one, and what definitely not to fall back into. I mean, sometimes you got to sample the products before you get to the winner. And by the time you get to the winner, hey, I know without a reasonable doubt that there's nothing out there better than this. Because this one has more of the positives than the negatives. And they complete me. Hey, Firefly, how you doing? PKC, are you being serious? Because if you're being serious, I wasn't really saying anything about their dirt nails. Texas said that. Did I take any home to mom and dad? Every other weekend, Leslie, every other weekend. It's almost like they got to the point where, what's her name? Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. They knew that she wouldn't be back after a couple more dates or a couple more sessions with 12, you know. Got to kiss a lot of toads. You're right, Kel. You're right. And hell, maybe I was the toad they were kissing. Who knows? I viewed it as the other way around, but what if these girls were searching for their Prince Charming and I just happened to be one of the toads they were kissing? You get what I'm saying? So it works both ways. But I do know that at one point you get old enough that you find out that a lot of things that you enjoyed when you were younger just don't make a hell of beans as you mature. And like I told the kids today in the class that I did, I said, if you don't add more positive to your day than withdraw negative, where it makes you unbalanced, you're not going to have a very good life. I've probably already heard that name too, Leslie. I've had a lot of female friends as well, and I had one of them call them my harem, and one of them called me a male gardening tool, you know, stuff like that. I've heard them all. But you know what? Sometimes you do have to find your way in life, and that's how I chose to go through life, is finding my way by hitting and missing. And for the most part, it worked out, but for the most part, I had to realize that I was a sick one. I don't know what you're. Go ahead and type it in there. You're not going to offend me. This is an adult chat. You're not going to offend me at all. But for the most part, you know what I'm talking about. You have friends that are married. You have friends that have been married, divorced, remarried. It might even be you. You know what I mean? You mean love women. um, we'll just stop at your statement, Leslie. But at one particular point, relationships with people in general, not just relationship with the opposite sex, but relationships with friends can be soured as well because of some silliness. Have you ever had a friend that you adored and for some reason y'all had a misunderstanding and it ruined your friendship? And then later on in life you reconnected and you're like, we lost a lot of time due to something that we couldn't let go of at the time when we parted ways. You know, to quote Stacy Chapin, when she said, love those in your life because once they're gone and once you lose that time, you can never get it back. That was no truer statement right there. Because once the time is gone, you can't get it back. You can't get it back no matter what you do. It's gone, never to be again. As I've told you guys in the past, I am an addict, alcoholic, in recovery. And one thing I do know is all the time I spent doing what I'm talking about right now, it cost me a lot of valuable time with the people who were closest to me, which was my family and my friends. and the real people in life, not those people that hung around just to get from me one thing or another, you know? So I guess the purpose of what I'm talking about tonight isn't really anything that's going to be earth moving. I just want to chat with you guys. Here's another question for you. What does it mean? How do you know that you're a good friend? What makes you a good friend to others? If y'all could answer that in the chat, I'd like to see some of your answers. What makes you a good friend? And I really want you to think about these questions. Don't give me the book answers or anything like that. Think before you answer because I really want your honesty. What makes you a good friend? And how are people blessed to be able to say, so and so is my friend because of this? Okay, so you're a good listener. Dang, I went out to water the garden and quickly changed my mind. Wind, thunder, lightning, and rain. So I fed the horses and came back in. Hopefully it rains now. Being there in their bad times. Okay. The rest of you in chat, what makes you a good friend? How do you know that you're a good friend? Ride or die. Anybody else? Anybody else have anything else other than not playing in lightning? Okay. Honestly, I tell people what they need to hear, which isn't always necessarily the same as what they would like to hear. Okay. Y'all are giving great answers. So, based on what you're telling me, the way that you treat yourself is the way you expect to be treated. Because after all, we teach people how to treat us. So if you're trustworthy, if you're honest, if you're a great listener, then you expect people around you to be the same. What do you do if you figure out that they're not compatible with you? Do you still stay friends with them regardless? Or do you kick them to the curb? I have lots of acquaintances, but I only have a few friends. I try to treat my friends as I want to be treated by them. Yes, indeed, Mountain Mama, that's 100% true. Being forgiving. That's a great one. You know, sometimes we don't know how to forgive ourselves. We don't know how to say, it's okay, so and so. You made a mistake. It's okay. You can dust yourself off, get up, and go after this again. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. This reminds me, I need to message my friend back. She messaged me about my dog, and I keep forgetting to respond. I guess I'm not always a good friend. Well, I'm not trying to put any of that into your mind, but you know, I do that too. I do that too. I liked it better when we didn't have text messaging. People would call you, you missed their call, you would either call them back or you'd see them within a limited amount of time and you would discuss what it was that they were going to talk to you about. 12 gauge, I tried that today and got kicked in the ass. Well, maybe those people aren't your friends. Maybe those people are the ones you need to walk away from. I keep falling asleep when I sit down in front of the computer. It's easy to do. But as I was saying, You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. And if you aren't present, how do you ever expect to have any semblance of making any kind of life for yourself other than just existing and going through the motion trying to please other people? You know, it takes a long time to learn to love yourself. It really does. Maslow talked about the hierarchy of needs. And he talked about the top one being self actualization. And many people feel that they've reached the top pinnacle because the other hierarchy of needs, obviously, we meet them daily, but the self actualization does not mean self entitlement. It means that we actually understand our purpose in our own lives first and how we exist to ourselves. We pass that on to the world. If you're kind to yourself, then you're going to be kind to others, even if people aren't kind to you. Does that mean that you hate them? No. It means that you understand if that happens more than once and you don't like rude people, you're going to back up and leave those people behind because they're not worth your time or your energy. You know? Also, you have to understand that sometimes what other people think of you is none of your business. Because honestly, I could ask you guys right now, one person at a time, name one thing you like about me and one thing you dislike about me. Go ahead and tell me. I'm brave enough to ask that. Many people can't handle that because they would say, well, this is live. People are actually going to read this. His own chat's going to tell him bad stuff. And what? That helps me be a better person. So why don't you tell me that? What's one good thing that you like about me? And one thing that you really don't like about me? Okay, you like my honesty. What don't you like about me? You're a sweet person. Leslie, ignore them. What don't you like about me? I want each of you to type something in, please, because I'm being honest right now. This is an honest show. I'm being honest. You're not going to hurt my feelings, I promise. Leslie says she likes my honesty. Is that a good thing, Rondi, or a bad thing? You said perfectionist. Is it a good thing that I'm a perfectionist? Or is it a bad thing that I'm a perfectionist? Kel says, I like that you're patient. Rondi says both. Okay. I've been told that before. 12 gauge, I hate that you're so. Does that make sense? Of course it does. But unfortunately, I don't know any other way to be but to be honest. I tell on myself. I tell people things about situations that they don't even have to ask about. You produce a peaceful atmosphere. Well, thank you. Now give me something negative you don't like about me. I like your honesty and that you try and include everyone. I don't know you well enough to say anything I don't like. Okay, well, I appreciate that. I second that. I've always found 12 extremely calming. Thank you. I would go with the perfectionist, though. And that's what I love about you, too. You say what you feel. Yeah, the storm is here. a lot of buffering, so I may lose internet. Will you be sure to be safe? Think about your safety first. We'll be here when you get back, okay? Don't worry about us. We'll keep you in our prayers. I hate you didn't come over on your vacation. Well, I had tag-alongs, and I've never really went to the West Coast, so you just never know, Leslie. I don't know enough to not like yet. Well, honestly, have you ever heard that those people that spend time working on themselves as they're gaining through the worst times in their lives, there's nothing you could ever say to them that they haven't said to themselves a million times over, and they don't even like themselves in the mirror? Well, that's who I used to be. So some of the things that would cut the deepest weren't even said by other people. They were said by myself, and sometimes those weren't even true. I hate that you're so stubborn. uh, yeah, I've been told that myself. I've been told that. I've been told that I'm too hard on myself. Been told that I don't cut myself any slack. That I put such huge demands on myself that sometimes it's hard even for myself to even achieve them. Well, you're not going to get booted, Leslie. I promise you. You're fine. I asked for it, and there's nothing that you are saying that I haven't heard already. You know what I mean? I love the way that you are with your family. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I've had that relationship with them since they were little. I've been the extended voice of reason, you know? They still push boundaries. Not everything's 100%, but it's a lot better most of the time than it is worse. You know, you don't realize time is important until you get older. And as you get older, you realize that the time that you've already lived on this earth, you start to evaluate, what have I really done and what haven't I done? And what is still left to do? Is there anything that some of you still want to do? Do you have a bucket list? Is there still something that you want to do that you keep putting off? And what makes you keep putting that off? Go for it. Cross it off the list. Eat the cheesecake. Buy whatever it is that you feel that you need or you want if you're at a position to do so. Quit fearing about what it used to be like and understand exactly what it is today. Are you stable financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically? And that's what I'm talking about as far as treating yourself well. Are you a good friend to you? That's a good question, Rondi. That's a great question. Because for the longest time, I figured I wanted money because I thought I'd be married by 30 and it never happened. And I said, well, maybe 40. And it never happened. I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to make money. And at this point, I'm going to hang on to the answer that I've always wanted. I've always wanted a family, a wife, possibly some kids, and just some kind of companion. I love that mountain mama. She says the Grand Canyon. I've had the date and everything ready several times and something happened that I can't go. Hey Walt, good to see you. The question was, what's one thing that you keep putting off on your bucket list that keeps you from going and doing it? Other than money. We all have money problems, right? Well, as much as I love watching cricket, nothing compared to the smell of a baby, you know? Sirius says, I hate working during lives. I'll always miss the best stuff. But we're glad you're here whenever you're able to be. You know, success means different things to different people. To me, being successful does not mean being extremely wealthy. Because I'm knowledgeable enough to know that I've had the financial aptitude to gain anything that I wanted out of life. And as fast as it came, as fast as it went. So now I'm at a point where I'm slowing down a little bit and understanding that, you know what? Sometimes you just have to slow down and smell the flowers, listen to the birds, you know? I was going to ask the same thing, Sirius. I didn't want to sound silly. I'm glad you asked it. Who the hell is Doug? Don't let money fool you. It's only a cover up for your inadequacies. Because the more you have, the more you spend. You're happiest when you have little, but you have more stability. Oh, okay. Walt Dog. Okay, Team Doug. There you go. I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm speaking very general tonight because this is what I'm kind of sharing my strengths, experiences, and hope, you know? I know a lot of people with a lot of money and they're miserable because after you spend on anything and everything you've ever wanted and go anywhere and everywhere you've ever thought of going, then what? You can only donate so much. Then what? I know that I always said that if I won the lottery, that I'd open up certain places for individuals that struggle with life in general. I'm not talking about drugs. I'm not talking about just alcohol. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about just life in general. Because for the most part, people don't know how to live life anymore. Does that make sense? We used to have a guy that came in here. His name was Jim. He used to have a picture of his dog named Finn. I don't know what happened to Jim. If you're watching or listening, Jim, if we offended you or somehow made it uncomfortable so you never came back, we hope to see you again. That goes along with anybody who used to pop in here and is no longer in here. Hope to see you again. You were a big part of the growth of this channel, and I appreciate each and every one of you. What do men look for in a woman? I thought I missed something with Doug. I was slightly lost. Um, he would never embarrass his dog that much, Leslie. Okay. So that's a good question, Rondi. What do men look for in a woman? Oh, Walt. I really like hands. You know, I hear people like manicured nails. I like driven women. I like women that are intelligent. I like women that are secure with who they are. That don't feel like it's a competition to be next to me. And you know, if we're growing older together, it's always a wise thing to be physically fit. Or actually working towards it. You know what I mean? Because that doesn't guarantee long life, but you know, it sure helps a little bit, I'm sure. Do y'all believe that happiness can be maintained, or do you believe that happiness is a fleeting thought or feeling? I hate the delay because I'm like, okay, any minute the chat's going to start dinging. I think it grows. And it makes me forget the question. You know, happiness grows. Okay, I get that. How about the rest of you? Do you believe happiness can be maintained? Do you believe that happiness is a real thing? And what makes you happy? A very good answer. You never know with an unknown caller, yeah. Do you believe that unhappy people really are miserable, or do you believe that unhappy people sometimes choose to be unhappy? I try to be considerate and respectful and not to talk about myself when they are in need. I find that too many times I end up comforting them in my needs. You're right. Happiness can be maintained with the right work life balance. It all started with an unknown caller. Dang, I'm way behind Chad. I just realized that. You're fine, Sirius. You're fine. I think happiness may come and go, but I think we can have a content feeling that is kind of happiness, and I think it's maintainable. I love your answers tonight. I really do. You are a thinking bunch, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that. I think active listening is important. Listening to absorb, not to respond. I'm still on the damn phone. choose. Well, tell her to bring you some ice cream, Texas, please. You know, I believe that if you're with the right people in your circle, it doesn't matter how big the storm is, together you can weather it. Together you can make that storm manageable. Do you realize that for 2.5 years we've spent most of our time invested in other people's lives? There's people on this internet that are angry and almost psychotic when they talk about this case. They refuse to let it go. Do you believe that they're really happy or they're really just doing it for the wrong reasons? Yeah, I like critical listening. I like that class. No one would shut up, but I learned how to listen because none of the others, ham and eggers, ever did. Depends on the day. Usually I'm pretty happy and just keep to myself. This last week has been tough. We're glad you're here, Sirius. We really are. Walt, I don't shut up very easy either. I try to keep the energy good. That's good. Boy, I'll say. You know, it's gotten so bad on YouTube that I can't even go into some of the chats I used to go into because I can't stand the energy. I can't stand it. And I'm not going to talk about other creators because just like Brian don't deserve any time spent on him, those type of creators don't deserve any time spent on them. One thing I learned while I was on vacation is even though there's certain areas that I visited that were hospitality points where, they're getting paid to be nice. But there was other areas in the South that weren't hospitality points and people were still courteous with thank you and yes sir and just going out of the way to be courteous. I believe that's how it should be. You know, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. And there are some people that claim that they're nice people, but their actions show that they're not. You know, I used to think I was a nice person, unless you went and asked some of those women that broke their hearts and stole their trust, they would be quick to say otherwise. Sometimes what we see in the mirror isn't really the reality that we present to other people. Let me ask you this question. I want you to be honest. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being less, 10 being greatest, where are you as far as being a quote unquote good person? 1 to 10. Would you say that you're about halfway? Would you say that you're at number 10? Would you say that you're a 2? Would you say that you're a 4? What would you say you are? Yeah, rate yourself. Would you say that if someone was to say you're a nice person or you're a good person, one being less, 10 being greatest, where would you rate to yourself? Would you agree with them that you're a nice person? Or would you say, no, there's no way I'm nice. That's just the person you see in the when I'm talking to you. If you really knew me, you'd think I was this number. Leslie says a 9. And I agree with that. I could see that, Leslie. But, Rondi, you're a 10. I'm hideous, but I'd rate myself a 4.6 out of 10. I believe you're a little higher than that, Walt. Normally I would say a 9, but sometimes ignorant people make me behave like a 2. That's fair enough. I'd go 7, work in progress. Leslie, you're a 10 too. I'd probably give myself a 7. A 6 or a 7. 6.5 or a 7. Because just because I don't go out of my way to hurt people doesn't necessarily make me nice. It's not what you say in front of the camera that makes you a nice person. It's what you say when no one's watching and other people are listening. My mama says I think I'm an 8. I try to be the person that my dog thinks I am. My girl tell me I am too nice, but I think it pays to be good to people in life. Oh, you guys make me cry. Thank you. Of course, it's good to be good to other people, but some people don't deserve your heart, especially when you find out that they're not genuine. Doesn't mean we don't pray for them, but you don't put pearls on swine. You know what I mean? I told you I'm a 6.5 or a 7. My deceased pup Gracie thought I was a 10. That's great, Walt. Well, it's almost time for me to get to bed. I just thought I'd hop on here and I'd spend a little time with you guys tonight before you hear me snoring on the mic like another creator that people talk about every moment of every day. Before you hear me fall out in the chair. That would be terrible, man, to be online, on live, and all of a sudden you fall asleep and people hear you snoring. That would be terrible. That would be terrible, wouldn't it? You're, you're listening to me and all of a sudden you hear, would that be awful? I will say this, it took me 5 years of being completely alone to really dig deep and get rid of the pain and suffering so I could have a chance at life. I would not change anything about that. And I back that 100% serious. Don't forget to lock your doors. You're right. Gracie would have loved everyone here, no doubt. The question I got to ask some of you that finally saw the light What took you so long to get over here? Is my name not out there like that? Or do I have a bad name on YouTube? What takes people so long to get into our chat? Can y'all answer me that before I leave? Because I know that y'all go chatting other places and there's nothing wrong with that. But what just takes people so long to come over here and stay? Yeah, it would be funny if I fell asleep. Can y'all answer me that? Because I know that y'all been at other places. What is it that I need to pick up my dog. I didn't realize how much I would miss her until I keep looking for her. You go do that. Can y'all answer that before y'all leave? We go lurk. Big difference. Main creators don't promote you. You have to do it all yourself. Gotcha. Well, if you know some good people that would enjoy this chat, spread the word. Let's change the culture because there's no lies, no drama. Let's change the culture. Let that be our mantra. Let's change the culture. Because the way I look at it, what other people do is not true crime to me. What I do and what some other people do that I respect and look at, the real true crime. You get what I'm saying? Those other places are just places to hang out and get angry and react to videos and stuff like that. They're not really true crime. They really don't focus on the criminal aspects. But it gets them whatever they need, and that's good for them. I've always wondered that. I've just never asked it. Well, I appreciate that, Walt. I honestly don't know why you don't have a line coming in here. I've always heard good things about you. I always holler you when you're out in other chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I've seen you, yes. She was one of a kind. Probably going to lose another one before too long. But she keeps hanging in there. Just can't hear. Yeah, I know the problem. I know I've had the same feeling. You know, PKC, it sucks. Your hearing goes, your eyesight goes. We can't 12 gauge. They like the way they are phony. I want you guys to come everywhere with me. Also, someone coming in here saying Brian is a hologram would not like it here. You're right. No, I was just wondering. No, I mean, I'm not trying to promote just anybody being here. This is a very elite, kind of like a country club atmosphere. You know, there is a dress code. We just don't let anybody in here. Some people just like drama. You don't want those people anyways. You're right. I would never say that. I'm happy with who's in here. I really am. I've worked hard at that. Um, but I was just wondering. Because I know I've made some enemies along the way because I made some poor choices when I first started my channel and going around certain chats that I regret that my face is even on any of those chats because it led me down a path sometimes that I wish that I wasn't on, but I was able to pull away and come back to the original person that I was when I started. Y'all love and hug on those doggies, those cats, or whatever it is that you enjoy loving on. And try to understand that, like I said, Without purpose, there is no will. Without will, there is no goals. Without any goals, there is no drive. And without no drive, there is no you. So make the best out of your life. Don't live in regret. And wake up to take on another day the best you can with what you got at the moment. And always be grateful. Till we meet again, friends. My name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. I'm out for the night. Maestro, cue that music.
Ready, set, go!
Gauge Investigative, the best true crime channel out there.
I'm a true crime channel.
12 Gauge Investigators is the best.
12 Gauge Investigators the best.
12 Gauge Investigator, he's the best.
Prince George's County 911 Center. What is the location of the emergency?
Across 4709 40th Avenue.
You say
It's a fire, and it's catching fast.
4709?
Yeah, 4709.
Okay, what city is that, ma'am?
Hyattsville, sorry.
And what's your name?
We take on the darkness, stare down deceit. Murder in the headlines, justice in the beat. From cold case whispers to killers in disguise, we rip off the mask, expose all the lies. Facts like bullets we load and deliver. Truth cuts deep like a blade in a river. Corruption shakes when the mic goes live. We dig where others won't survive. Keeps rolling through the smoke. Truth hits hard, no time for a joke. Deceit, murder, we name every name. No restraint, no shame, just flat.
12 Gauge Investigator is the best.
When you're in Foley, come get your hair cut where 12 gets his at Nick's Barbershop. 12 Gauge is the best. We love you.
12 Gauge Investigative is the best.
My name is 12 Gauge. Welcome. Good night, y'all.